Hey, it's Jan. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm all about showing you DIY projects of all kinds that are fun and easy to make. Now, I've shown you in previous tutorials how to make zipper pouches and bags out of fabric, but I'm going to switch it out a little bit today and show you how to make a granny stitch crochet pouch. This is a beginner-friendly crochet project, and you are going to love this granny stitch. It's something that I do frequently, and it's so relaxing and it's very easy to do. You'll be using the basic crochet stitches. I'm going to show you how to switch colors in a method that's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you later in another tutorial how to add a zipper and a lining to the bags. But for this tutorial, we're just going to focus on getting these bags. Now, as you can see, I'm addicted to this. It's something that I enjoy doing when I'm watching TV just for a little bit or just need to relax at the end of the day. So grab some colorful yarn, a crochet hook, and let's get started. You can make these bags any size, and as you can see, you can use all kinds of different colors. To make stripes, you can make it all solid color if you want to, and like with this bigger bag, I've used just random colors and switched them out just interchangeably and randomly, and look how cute that turned out. There's no set size or dimensions that you can make. It's unlimited. The first thing you're going to need to do is decide what colors you want to use. I get out my yarn and I will find a project or something or see a picture with the colors that I enjoy and like, and I'll put them together, and I'll grab my yarn balls and set them in order and mix and match them a little bit until I find something that kind of fits what I'm thinking. So I'm going to put them in order, and so that when I change the row color, I know which yarn to grab, or you can change your mind. Nothing set here. So I'm going to set those aside for now and focus on my bottom color, my base color, which I'm going to start with this green. Let's just talk about the crochet hook and the yarn you'll be using. Now, really, you can use cotton yarn, you can use polyester yarn, you can use fancy yarns. But for the bags that I'm making, I'm just using a medium weight worsted yarn and a 4.0 millimeter crochet hook or a G size. You're going to need a pair of scissors to clip your yarn between rows and a yarn tapestry needle for the end of the project when we have to weave in just a few pieces of yarn. The only stitches that you'll be using is a chain stitch, a single crochet, double crochet, and a slip stitch. Pretty simple, right? So if you've never crocheted before, you might want to find there are tons of videos out there on how to do your basic crochet. I have found the best way to determine how wide and how many stitches you need to make is to start a chain. And keep in mind that the finished width will be about 1 to 2 inches bigger than the chain you have made. Because as we expand on those first couple rounds, it will expand out and then it'll straighten out. The number of stitches you make needs to be in increments of 3, and then we'll add one more chain to that. So I'm going to crochet 24 chains and then actually add one to make 25. Make a loop, pull that through, and attach my crochet hook. I have a little tail about that long, and then you'll start a chain. Let's go ahead and do that. And this is 25. Now, obviously, this measurement is going to be different for everyone because of the gauge and the yarn that you're using. But I have found with the bags that I have made that I like this number for this particular size. We're going to work a single crochet down each side of this chain. So take your crochet hook, insert it into the second stitch from your needle, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull it through both stitches. When you'll just continue doing a single crochet in each of the chains down the side. And I think this is the most tedious thing on this whole project, but once you get around this first round, it gets much easier. Okay, I have one more stitch to go. I've completed that first side. We just crocheted right here. I'm going to flip it so it's on the bottom, and then I'm going to crochet down the other side. I'm not going to add any stitches or anything. I'm just going to go into that first stitch right there, and then I'm going to grab the tail. See that tail? I'm going to just hold it there on top so that I can crochet over it a ways, and then I won't have to weave it in later. So I've got my tail there, and see how I'm taking a stitch underneath the tail, yarn over and pulling it through, and so it's enclosing that tail. Once I learned this, oh, I just love this, because my least favorite part is just weaving in those tails at the end. See how I'm opening it up and keeping it flat? It kind of wants to twist a little bit. At this point, I feel comfortable about clipping that tail. So make sure you're clipping the right piece of yarn. And there's the last stitch. This is the base, and then I'll have one row of the shell stitch. This part next, we're going to start that granny stitch right there. Now you can make a single row, or you can do a double row like I have with this pouch, or do it all one color. Now to start the first row of our granny stitch, I'm going to crochet 3, and that will count as my first double crochet in my cluster of 3. I'm going to yarn over and go down into that first hole, yarn over, pull it through, and then yarn over, pull it through just 2, and then yarn over and pull it through the other 2. Now I have 2 in that cluster. To make 3, I'm going to yarn over and go in that same hole, pull it through 2, pull it through the other 2. I'm going to yarn over and skip 2 stitches and go into the next stitch for the next cluster. Yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through the other 2. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, making 3 double crochets to make the cluster. And that's the granny stitch. I'm going to continue down to the end, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and into the next. So isn't that cool? Isn't that cute? A cute little granny stitch. That's all there is to it. I'm going to continue that pattern down to the end, and then I'll show you what to do. We've made it to the end of that first row with our last cluster in the last stitch. This is the only time that we're going to do that, but we're going to make 2 clusters in the same hole, separated by a single crochet. We won't be doing this anywhere else in the pouch. So I'm going to make a single crochet, make another cluster in that same hole as we did that last stitch. And that kind of rounds that corner. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches and make another cluster. This cluster lines up with this cluster, and we're going to continue down to the end. I'm going into that last stitch for my last cluster on this side. To end this row and to change a color at this point, you will take a slip stitch into that first double crochet. Take the next color that you're going to use, find the tail, and yarn over and pull it through, and that's your slip stitch. And we're going to continue to crochet with those clusters, making the first cluster by a chain 3. So it seems kind of loose and wonky right now, but we're going to take those, you'll just take those 2 tails of the first color and the joined color and kind of pull them tight. And I'm going to make 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to cut that old color, leave about a 6-inch tail. And we'll crochet over those tails to hide them. So it'll kind of be loose, but you'll just take the 2 and pull them tight and hold it while you start your next cluster. And I'm going to make that cluster in this hole right here at the end. Adjust the tails, yarn over, and go to the next space between the clusters. And you can just kind of pull those as you go to keep it taut and underneath there. And you'll just work all the way around, and there's no need at the end to do anything. You'll just keep going back, and then we'll slip stitch back into this. And I'm going to clip those tails. And when you get down to the other end, you're going to find that little stitch that you made between the 2. Remember that right there? And see how that makes a little cup, a little boat. And that's your base. And you just continue. And then when we get to the end, we'll change colors again. Isn't that just snazzy? I just love the look of this. And if you make a few wrong stitches, you can just pull it out and start over. Not all the way over, but just to where you made the mistake. It's not about perfection. It's about just creating something, and you'll get better as you work. Okay, so that's what it looks like before we are going to join with a slip stitch and change colors. I'm going to join in that first double crochet, yarn over with the new color, pull it through, and tighten with the tails. Make a 6-inch tail, snip it off, and we're on to another color. This is so exciting. 3 stitches again, yarn over into that same space. Let's get our tails lined up. And if you wanted to change just random, not at the end, all you would do is on that last double crochet of your cluster, you're going to stick it through and pull in the new color. Like that. Hold the tails, start the next cluster. And so you have that subtle change there. It's so fun. There's so many options of fun things you can do with this stitch. It's really forgiving. It's easy to do. And I'm going to continue. Let me join this so you can see how that, when I was talking about how, see, this is the base, and how it's about 1 inch shorter than the width is going to be, end up. But see how it's starting to straighten up, and that's where you'll get your sides of the pouch. So I have completed the amount of rows that I want and the colors that I want, and now I'm going to show you how to slip stitch and finish the edge if you want to. Now you can just finish it like this. This is a zipper pouch that I've made, and I've just stopped where I was. I didn't add a single crochet around the edge. You can do that, and you can add a row of double crochet like I have here. It just depends on the look that you want. I'll go ahead and show you how to finish it off with a double crochet like this. Let's go over this double crochet edge first. So I'm going to slip stitch back into that first stitch again, yarn over and pull it through, and then pull it through, and for a slip stitch. Now to add that double crochet border, I'm going to crochet 2 chains, yarn over, and go into that first next stitch, going through both of those top stitches, and do a double crochet, pull it through, yarn over and pull it through, yarn over, go to the next stitch, and continue all the way around. So you have that look of the double crochet. Now if you wanted to just do a single crochet, it makes a little bit tighter of a border, but I prefer to just end it there, or you can add your border. So let me undo that a few stitches. Let's finish off this last cluster. Now I'm going to show you a really slick way to join the ends that I've learned that looks so much better than that, just that wonky little slip stitch, and it just doesn't look as good. Let me get my scissors and clip that off. leave a tail, about 10 inches. I'm going to demonstrate this on this pouch because I think you can see the gray color a lot better on those stitches. I'm going to finish off my double crochets. And then before I slip stitch in here, I'm going to pull it out. I'll take my tapestry needle or my yarn needle and thread it. And then instead of slip stitching with my crochet hook, I'm going to slip stitch with this needle into that first stitch right there, going into those 2 top stitches there, and pull it. And then I'm going to go back into this stitch. So this stitch that we just came out of, there is the front stitch and the back stitch. I'm going to go through the back stitch. And see how that when I pull it tight, but when I open it up, it just looks like another chain there. Really slick. And so instead of pulling it tight, I'm going to let it just be like that, and then I'm going to weave that end into the back side. Just back and forth like you usually do when you're working your ends in. When I feel that secure, you can go ahead and clip your thread. So it just is a nice continuous stitch there. All right, now we are ready to add a liner and a zipper. So make sure you stay tuned for that tutorial. If you have any questions about this granny stitch, please leave a comment in the section below and I'll get back to you. And this is what we'll be getting ready to learn how to do. Really a simple thing. Isn't that fun where a fabric and a yarn comes together with a zipper in a project? You gotta love it. So that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope it inspires you to get out your crochet hook, your yarn, and make a granny stitch zipper pouch. I will be showing you how to add a lining and a zipper, and it really isn't that difficult at all to do. It seems complicated, but it's really slick and fun. These make great gifts. Once you make one, you'll want to make another one and another one. Different sizes, different colors. If you like my content, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Click on the bell so you can be notified when I put new projects up, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to check out the other things that I'm into, go to my website, youmakeitsimple.com. I have a pattern store there where you can download my PDF patterns, where you can learn how all kinds of DIY projects around your home, crafts and sewing, and I even have some tasty recipes that you might want to try. Thanks so much for watching. If you have a comment or something interesting to share, leave it in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Have a wonderful day. Have fun crocheting, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.